Hello everyone and welcome to our interview with the lovely DejojoTheAwsome, who, if we have planned this correctly, should be right behind this door. Hey, there he is. He's looking over there because I told him the camera would be over there. But yeah, let's pretend that the camera's over there. So we're going to be building a Taylor Swift inspired house. Here is the blueprint that we made. And over there is kind of the footprint thing that we've got. And this place is going to be the basis for all of our guides. As you can see, there's a bunch of mod packs behind us. But we're also going to be interviewing DeJojo while we build so that we can get a little bit of an insight into his channel. So let's just jump straight into it. So, DeJojo, welcome to the channel. You've been here a few times now.
Yes. What is this, second, third time? I have no idea.
At least 3, because you've appeared in at least 2 of my guides. I think you've been on this more than most of the people that I'd shared an SMP with at one point.
Actually, you know what? If I've been on multiple guides, that also includes the Vault Hunters competition. So this is like 5 times. I'm like a veteran of the Hellfire Mage channel.
Yeah, this is very true. And then we even like guest starred on Fox's and Beardstone's Mario Kart thing. So it's about time that my viewers actually learn a little bit more about you. We've done a decent job of introducing you as the create guy, but beyond that, I don't think my audience knows that much about you, unless, of course, they follow your channel, which I know quite a lot of them actually do.
I think there's actually a few people who are like, yeah, I discovered this channel from Hellfire Mage. In my like people who are really big fans of the channel came to me through the guides and the Vault Hunters competitions that like we did together.
Yeah.
So there's at least like 12 of you. Put in the comments. Comment down below. Give this man some interaction.
And this is why he has more subscribers than me. Look at that interaction. It's been a bit of a wild journey, hasn't it, between us? Because we met like a long time ago now. It feels like it's been at least at least a year.
Yeah, almost a year. I started doing Vault Hunters in December, and so I passed a year, of course, last December. So I think it's probably been a year.
Yeah, which is a little bit wild when you think about it. I've only been doing YouTube for like a couple of years. Yeah, you've been here from, I think I had like 1,000 subscribers or something crazy like that. And it's been a while, and I know your channel was quite small as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think I still remember. It was, you had 8,100 something, and I had just barely hit like 900. Like I was just under 1,000. I remember this because when you reached out to me, I told everyone I knew. I was like, oh my god, a channel 10 times my size just reached out to collab with me. I've made it. This is the big break. I was so excited, and I still am. Like, that was such a cool interaction. I'm really glad you reached out to me because, I mean, first of all, the competition was a fantastic thing to, be a part of. And of course, just getting an interaction where I got to like meet another content creator was a really big deal, because from that moment onward, it occurred to me and made a lot of sense to me how important it was as a content creator to know other content creators.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like I was saying with Beardstone, it can get really lonely if you're a content creator and you're just trying to do everything by yourself. And I think what at least I've learned from being in that creators Discord is there's a lot of mistakes that people are making all of the time, and all of us are learning from the mistakes that everyone's making and improving together, and it's so much quicker than just doing everything by yourself.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like you said, it can not only be lonely, but just doing content creation on your own is kind of like, if you break, it's like a ridiculous idea. Like, you're trying to like produce videos, you're trying to be entertaining, you're trying to keep up with the community, you're trying to like keep thumbnail and stuff, and for some of us who have like editors and stuff, you're trying to run like a business at that point, right? You're paying people and working with people, and all of that, doing it on your own is kind of a ridiculous idea. But there's still this like mindset, I think, in the world about like the one person content creator, right? Like, you just do every job, and that's kind of like the thought that people have about it, and it's not feasible at all.
No, it's not. I really struggle with, well, my weakest point I think at the moment is my editing, and I need to hire an editor. But then you've got to kind of do that balance of, well, is it financially sustainable to do so? And you don't want to be sort of underpaying someone for their skills. So it's something that I am very much going to be doing at some point in the near future, because I think it's going to add a lot to my content, and then I can focus on the actual process of doing the videos themselves. I think is probably a good thing. I know you brought on an editor fairly recently, didn't you? And it's kind of made a big change to your channel.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I hated editing. It wasn't even just that I didn't think I was very good at it. Well, I knew I wasn't very good at it, but I just didn't love it, and it didn't matter how much I learned about it. I just couldn't get into it. It bored me to tears, and it was getting to a point where the channel was starting to make some money, and I had the opportunity to really reinvest that into the channel and also just buy me some peace of mind. And it has been a big deal because, you know, not only is it like I'm not the one editing my videos anymore, but the people who are editing my videos are a lot better at it than I am. And so right now I have two kind of on-call editors, Maddie and Carly, both doing great stuff.
I think I'm very much torn between the kind of losing control over your content versus making the content better. And I think one side of that's going to win eventually, and it's probably going to be the making the content better side of things, because over time I've just realized that while I have the skill sets for some things, maybe don't have the best skill sets for others, and I think you just want to try and make the best thing that you can at the end of the day, don't you?
Yeah, no, and I think with like losing control of the content, it feels like that, but at the end of the day, it really isn't, because it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you have your hands on the content, but at the end of the day, you still can't do what you want to with the content, so you don't actually have control over it anyways. There's just kind of the illusion of it because you're the one making the edits and making the cuts, and once you give it off to an editor, you still have the control to say like, hey, I really want you to do this at this point in the video. I think it'd be really funny. Or what I've started doing to make my life and my editor's life easier is making the rough cut of the video myself. So the pacing of the video is exactly the way I want it. The clips that I want are included in, right? So I basically, you know, hand them a quote-unquote finished video, right? Like you could watch it start to finish, and their job is to take it and embellish it in the ways that I can't.
The thing I love is the fact that we're like, 5 minutes in at this point, we've already like ditched the list of topics that we made and gone off on a tangent about editing, because that's very much a me and you thing to do. We'll just get completely distracted by random things and end up on tangents about like Dungeons and Dragons and things like that, and we'll just completely forget what we were actually meant to be doing in the first place.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when we did the recording session of the Vault Hunters competition together, that was like the first time that Hellfire and I actually like talked. We finished the recording and stuff, and I was like, hey man, I have a few questions for you as like a larger channel. And that was like 2.5 hours of just straight up just talking with, I think, some of your helpers at the time as well. It lasted way too long, and I'm pretty sure, I think like 2 questions actually got answered during that conversation, and the rest of it was just chatting.
Yeah, you guys are in for a bumpy ride. If you think this is going to be a cohesive interview, it's most certainly not.
Absolutely. Between Hellfire and I, we have 160 HDs.
Okay, I'm gonna leave that in as well, and then I'm gonna abruptly cut to something else.
All right, you're about to get some insider knowledge here, guys. Okay, because my channel is a lie. I did not start it with Vault Hunters. I didn't start it in December of 2022. I started it, I think it was April 12th. I think I just had my YouTube birthday, and that was all the way back in 2020. And I started it because I wanted something to do during the pandemic. And I made a few videos on Minecraft here and there, and then I made a few videos on Terraria here and there, and then I quit because I sucked at it, and no one was watching my videos, and it hadn't occurred to me that it wasn't that I was a bad, like, entertainer, I was just a bad content creator, which is a different thing. And so I put the channel away for years. I privatized the videos and stuff like that. And then in 2022, I learned about Vault Hunters. I kind of get into it, of course, watching your videos like everyone else on the planet who got into Vault Hunters, playing it with my brother Aiden and my partner, and, you know, big, you know, presence on the channel, Audrey or Audie, if you know her from the streams. And Vault Hunters, you know, the new edition is coming out, and I had this thought, and I'm like, you know what, man, I really need something to do. I have a lot of time on my hands right now. I'm kind of looking for jobs and stuff like that, and I think it would just be fun. And that was the key. It would just be fun to sit down and record some videos like I used to and just kind of share my experience with the world. And that was really how I started with Vault Hunters. I, for the first time, did not have these visions of grandeur of becoming a YouTuber or anything like that. I just had the thought of like, man, it's fun and I'd like to do this, and I'd really just like to play and share it with people because I like to talk to myself and stuff. And that was it. That was literally the whole mindset behind the channel. I still had goals and stuff, right? I wasn't necessarily just throwing videos into the wild. I wanted to get better at it. I wanted to like learn this new skill of content creation and stuff like that. But for the most part, I did it because I thought I'd enjoy it, and I was right. And it did a lot better than I expected it to, especially with like the first video I'd produced in a while. And I remember like, I was like, man, I really just want this first video to get like 10 views on it. I think if like 10 people watch the video, like that's people watching it, like it's at least like on the platform, and it got 50. And I was like, oh my God, dude, this is great. 50 people are watching my videos. That's ridiculous. And there was people commenting like, hey man, I really enjoyed this video and I hope you'll do more. And looking back on it, it's probably one of the worst videos on the internet. But I think any content creator would say that about their stuff. But
Everyone
it was just bad.
said
It was
yeah.
yeah, I mean, and I think that's a good thing, though. I think that's such a great thing. I think it can be seen as, like, detrimental to self-esteem or something like that, but it's not. It's sort of like the vision of growth. Like, we're just so far ahead of where we were then that it just is bad and not, like, subjectively. It's just objectively not a good video.
Yeah, no, that's exactly the same as mine. I've looked back at my old RuneScape videos, and they're just, I can't even, like, they're so bad. But I leave them up there because there's a little bit of nostalgia that I can go back and have a look and go, you know what, actually, this is where everything started, and where I can kind of look and go, if I think I'm not improving, let me go look at the statistics for those videos, and let me go have a look and see how bad the quality was. Like, the pacing was so slow, like just so incredibly slow.
Pacing, man, that's the killer. That's the killer of everything, especially in modded Minecraft.
Yeah.
Like, there are just some things in modded Minecraft that take a while, and you can get so caught up in it that you're just like, blah, blah, you're talking, you're doing important stuff over like the worst thing ever. I used to think that no one wanted to watch Mechanism. That wasn't the case. No one wanted to watch me play Mechanism because I was so boring. And the whole time I was like, all right, we're going to set input on the left and output on the right, and then we're going to go to this machine and we're going to set input on the, and I was just get so caught up in the doing of it and talking over it that I stopped thinking about making like an entertaining video.
Now, the fun fact for you is, for my channel, my top 3 videos are Mechanism Fission Reactors, Mechanism Beginner's Guide, How to Build a Fusion Reactor in Mechanism. Those are my top 3 videos on my channel. Did anyone come and watch the Create Mechanized videos? Not really. So apparently people like me explaining Mechanism. They don't like watching me play Mechanism because it's just not quite the same, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty funny actually. So we have the opposite effect. No one wanted to watch me explain Mechanism while I played it, and no one wants to watch you play Mechanism.
Yep.
But everyone wants to listen to you explain Mechanism.
It's actually crazy. Like, when I look comparatively, every single day, my fission reactor guide, I always get the two mixed up. So the fission reactor guide gets roughly 600 views per day, and it has now been 252 days since I released it. It's going to close in on 100,000 views pretty soon.
Guides do well. The best videos on my channel are guides as well. Guides are like introspectives.
Yeah, they all have that longevity factor, and people actively search for them. And I'm kind of hoping that these interviews and things like that kind of take the channel in a different direction. I think after doing the Create Mechanized Let's Play, I think it's made me rethink my channel quite significantly. I realized that, well, I was doing Let's Plays because it's what people do and not because it's what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And I got into a situation which you sort of mentioned to me that you're in as well, where I stopped playing Minecraft for fun because playing Minecraft just felt like work. So I was doing Let's Plays for content, so I couldn't enjoy Let's Plays by myself.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like I'm trying to fix that right now, right? I've started up a playthrough of Nomi Factory, which might not be the best mod pack to remove the work from Minecraft, but it's a weird headspace to get in, especially because like the outward perception of especially like a Minecraft content creator is like, okay, your job is like playing video games all day. No. Minecraft just becomes like a part of the job. And like, yeah, like you said, it just becomes work to even just sit down. It's kind of like if like accounting was like a hobby, right? It's like it feels like sitting down and doing like, I'm gonna do my taxes and have a great time. You know, it gets like weird. It's a mental thing, totally. It's like this weird headspace that like I think almost every content creator that I know gets in to some degree, where you're just like playing Minecraft so much to get the constant videos out, because consistency is a big deal. You just like don't even, you lose time to actually play Minecraft, which is such a weird it's a weird thing that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. If you go and do the same thing, like, because you can bash your head against the wall for 16 hours and only get about an hour's worth of usable footage, and then after editing all that down you end up with like 20 minutes, and it's like, I've been playing for 16 hours, do I now want to just go and play some more Minecraft when I've just finished like a massive project? It's not something that you end up wanting to do. But we all love Minecraft, otherwise we wouldn't be here, but it's also, you kind of start to see it in a different light, don't you?
Absolutely, because it also becomes like, maybe this is just me, but you know the YouTuber mining trips? The YouTuber mining trips? I finally get why they happen so often, because they're so fun. They're like, I feel like a YouTuber mining trip is one of the best ways that you could like enjoy content creation, because you don't have to do it for so long. You'll usually get enough resources in an hour or two. You put on a movie, and for a moment you're just playing Minecraft again. Like, it's you, a pickaxe, a cave, and you're having a great time. It's like a weird lunch break that sometimes work just forces you to take. Like, all right, I need some more iron for this project. I need andesite, you know, if you're playing create mod before you've automated it. And so you get to have that moment where you just kind of get to like close off the brain to content creation and just be like, I've got 2 hours to myself. I'm trying to get there with building as well. I know building is like that for a lot of people when they're planning out builds and stuff, right? It's just playing Minecraft again. But I'm still learning how to build. I'm still trying to get good at it.
Yeah, that's a big focus for me. We've had builders on that are good at building. We've had builders that are good at doing building in real life, and I'm slowly learning all of the skills and techniques required to build, and if everything's worked out correctly, we should be actively building now. I mean, this is totally being recorded live and not before we've even built. Good block placement there. Yeah, good job.
We're capable of talking and doing something at the same time. I mean, what do people think of us, you know?
Yeah. No one like mentions the fact that all of my videos have got like 16 takes and I only use one of them for the video.
Do you know how many of my takes are today in the Cray mod? No. Today in the Cray mod. Damn it. Like, I can't pronounce a word. That's the worst thing ever.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, you're sitting alone in your room and you're like, I need to pronounce the word add-on.
Yeah, I've literally rage quit talking at certain points and just be like, no, I give up. I'm not doing it. I literally just leave the house and be like, I'll come back to it and record it later because I can't get the words out of my mouth.
Okay, I think it just hit me. I think we're 20 minutes into this. We should probably do another.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what the original. I don't remember what we were talking about. Starting the channel.
That's the one.
I think we did that.
Yeah, we did that. We successfully did it. We just kind of diverted slightly. Okay, so back on track then. What was kind of the trigger for you moving from Vault Hunters over to Create?
In summary, 126 episodes is part of it. I did 126 episodes of Vault Hunters, and quite a bit of them were daily. If you want to become a content creator, if you in the audience are watching this because you want to know what two content creators think about it, don't do daily content.
Yeah,
Just don't do it. It's fun for a week. It's good for a month. And then after that point, you will feel like a corpse. It's very, very hard. And it's not like, don't get the idea that like, oh, you know, I'll get in the grind set, right? Because that's what all of us thought, right? Oh, I'll just grind it out, okay? Don't do that, because content creation isn't a grind. It looks like a grind because consistency is a skill of content creation, but content creation is a skill. It's been proven on many, 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 many fronts. And, you know, blasting your channel with videos will help you with that skill, but you will tire out, you will burn out, and burnout is the antithesis to content creation. So don't do daily. I did it, and it worked, and it made me miserable. So, there it was. But it wasn't just the amount of time I'd put into Vault Hunters as well, right? Because I could have just started a new series, right?
Yeah.
It was also just not doing well, right? I think a lot of people in the Vault Hunters community or people who've like kept up to date with it know that Vault Hunters hit a massive, not hiatus, but massive gaps between the updates, and things just really started to fall off on the interest of the pack, and so many people had made playthroughs on it that had become very samey, and it really occurred to me that if I was making another series on Vault Hunters, I would be making a series for a very, very small amount of people. And so the question became, what do I do next? And there was a lot of back and forth. You and me talked about it and stuff. At one point, I was maybe going to try all the mods or something like that. And then eventually I decided, for the first time, I said, okay, I'm going to let the numbers do the talking. I'm going to look at my channel. What do people want? Did everyone just hear that sneeze, by the way? Did everyone just hear that? That's Audrey. That's Audrey in the background who just sneezed. I hope my mic picked that up. Anyways, she's always around. She's always... Anyone who's watching my channel, she's always watching. With Create Mod, all the videos of Vault Hunters that I did that had Create Mod in the title or the thumbnail did better than any other video, and I thought to myself, okay, people must want the Create Mod. And boy, was I right. I jumped on the back of Create as it was like surging in YouTube interest, and it was a fantastic time for me to get into the mod. Genuinely was a fantastic time. I got so lucky, and I thank my past self every day that I was at least intelligent enough then to extrapolate that kind of information from the numbers of the videos and stuff like that. And I also loved the Create Mod. I thought it was so fun. I was blown away by it. Vault Hunters was like my return to modded Minecraft. I hadn't really been playing modded Minecraft for that long, and so something like Create blew me away, and I was like, I love this thing. People want this thing. I'm going to do above and beyond.
I remember actually, you came to me, and I think it was after you'd released 2 episodes of Create, and you were just like, hell, I don't know if I want to keep doing this. Like, the views are not there. And I was like, yeah, just stick with it. And then, like, a week later, you messaged me being like, everything's exploding really quickly. And I'm getting, like, so many, like, followers and subscribers and things. And I was like, yeah, you got to show that you're in it for the long haul, which is advice that I am terrible at taking, but very good at giving.
It's hard with it because you want to go with something in the long haul, but you don't want to stick with something that isn't going anywhere. And thus becomes Schrodinger's YouTuber, right? Is it not getting enough views because I haven't put enough time into it? Or is it not getting enough views because it's never going to get enough views? And that is the constant mental struggle. And a lot of my explosion as well, I think, actually came from some short-form content, which you would think I would continue to do short-form content, but I have not.
Nope.
I made a number of shorts, and if you know the Create Mod, you've probably seen them because they've garnered millions and millions of views on Shorts and TikTok and Instagram, and I think they suck. I think they suck. I was learning how to do Shorts, and very embarrassingly, I watched Shorts, and I was like, okay, they exaggerate. I'll exaggerate. And I did. And then I said, okay, what do I want to exaggerate? A tutorial. Not a good combo.
No.
And so they got very popular, I think, because people were like, why are you saying that steam engine is better than a windmill? It isn't. And it isn't. I'm just like, yeah, but they're cooler in the video or whatever. So many views, a lot of views. I think most of the views actually came from people who were vanilla Minecraft players that the algorithm pushed to, and then they watched the video because they were confused as to what they were looking at. I think most of the comments are literally like, what happened to Minecraft?
Yeah.
Which is the funniest one ever.
Yeah, you've got rage bait on one hand by making false claims in your tutorials, and then you have confusion bait by tagging it as just Minecraft. And that's a perfect storm of getting people to watch your shorts. It did make your channel go a little bit crazy, and it also sprouted quite a few memes in your Discord, which I lovingly participated in.
Yes. And it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not super proud that I immediately was like, I'll just bait people with my TikToks and stuff like that, because it was one of those things where it's like, at the time, in the moment, I was like trying out stuff with Shorts, and I think I can say it was like a legitimate like mistake that I made based off of like, well, I'm just going to do what other people are doing. And what other people are doing is making big claims and stuff like that. Create, it was not the best place to do that in. And I stopped doing shorts because I felt bad about making things super embellished. So I tried to make shorts that were a lot more level-headed, and they just didn't do very well. And it just doesn't work with like informative stuff.
No, it really doesn't. I tried putting some things into short form content and I hated it. Like when you look back at your first video and you just cringe while you're watching it. Imagine that while you're making the content. So what you'll see is very occasionally, like once every 6 months, I'll put out one short and then just give up on it.
Yeah, I mean, one day I'm sure I'm going to have to sit down and do it. I won't necessarily say that shorts content will grow long form content, by the way, if anyone here is interested in content creation again. If you think people are going to move from your shorts to your long form, don't think that. You're wrong. Look it up. Everyone will tell you you're incorrect about that. YouTube wants people to come from shorts to long form, and they won't come from shorts to long form. They just won't, and it's unfortunate, but it's true. It's a perfectly valid way to run a channel, by the way. Hellfire and I aren't dogging on shorts form content.
Oh,
We're
no,
dogging
for
on
sure.
our approach.
Yeah.
Our past approach has been bad. It's been a little scummy. It's been the wrong mindset. It's been doing shorts for the sake of just putting something out. That should be something you do like if you have a lot of subscribers and you're like, okay, I want some more growth. I want some more traction. Let's do shorts. That should be the mindset you're in, not other channels are doing shorts and I'm going to do them because you'll just hate it.
Definitely will feel like that. Right, let's go back to the list. Create mod packs then. Come on, talk us through the difference with you between sort of basic create, because that's what was in Vault Hunters, was the very basics of create, and then having things like Steam and Rails, and then having like Create Astral, and I mean, you've even tried out Create Mechanized. What's kind of your thoughts on making an actual good Create mod pack and good add-ons to it?
So yeah, basic create I think is a great way to say it. I usually call it like vanilla create, or whether if create comes like stock, like stock footage, stock create. Create is very popular and it's in a lot of mod packs, and that produces a kind of effect where you play a lot of vanilla create, and vanilla create is fantastic, but vanilla create 15 times is not fantastic, just as anything vanilla 15 times is not fantastic. And that's why create is my favorite mod, because of the add-ons, which I know is kind of it sounds counterintuitive, but I love its extendability and that there's such a community around it, and that the mod has become its own platform for other mods to come out of it. And so many of them. Like there are mods that have add-ons, but like a refined storage add-on is like, I added more disks to it because I thought there should be. With Create, it's like I've completely overhauled the system or added an entirely new mechanic.
Yeah, here are trains and spaceships and things like that.
Yes, absolutely. And I think what really goes into making a good Create mod pack is picking the right mods, not add-ons, but mods to pair with Create. I think the reason that Above and Beyond is probably the greatest Create mod pack in the world, and just kind of will always be this undefeated titan of Create, is how perfectly Create is blended with other mods, so that you're always using Create, but it gets harder and harder, not tediouser and tediouser, if that's even a word, because that's a big problem I find with Create mod packs, because Create in itself is very basic, and I know a lot of people struggle with it, and it's like a learning hill, because it's once you understand it, it's simple, right? It can be a problem where pack developers make packs that kind of fall into one of two buckets. One bucket is, okay, the Create stuff isn't hard enough, so I'm going to make someone do this process a million times, and that's what that makes it harder, right? And then you have the other bucket, which is, man, the Create stuff isn't hard enough, or it's getting boring, so we're just going to dump it. Every once in a while we'll throw in like a deployer recipe, but otherwise it's not Create anymore. And then that's not a Create mod pack, that's just like a pack that has Create in it, which is fine. But if you're putting like Create : in the beginning of your mod pack, at least to me, you need to have Create be the main integral progression mod that is then uplifted and modified by the add-ons, recipe changes, and other tier mods. So like I said, with Above and Beyond, the way that thermal was used with the Create mod was just brilliant. It was just brilliant. A lot of custom recipes were added into the game to make the farms, you had to jump between different systems, and you were sitting there thinking, okay, I know how the press and basin interact with each other, but how do they interact with this mod, and how do they interact with this process and something like that? And that's what makes Create infinitely more interesting than just like stone into crushing wheel into washer.
We basically spend all day around people that play almost exclusively Create. There's definitely kind of a bit of a shared mentality when it comes to content creation in Create. You've got to kind of find that very, very sweet spot between grind and interesting content. If you go one way or the other too much, it either gets so easy it's boring, or it gets so grindy that you can't make content on it. And I think that's the really big balancing act that a lot of mod packs need to make, especially the Create ones, because there's so many of them now. There's so many. I was downloading Create earlier today, and there's like 50 different add-ons, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on? And I know everyone's waiting for, was it Aeronautics?
Aeronautics, yes. Which is actually not a mod pack. It's just a physics mod, like Valkyrian Skies. But I think it's going to have like a space add-on and stuff. Like it's going to become its own little mod pack, pretty much. And I will say, when Hellfire and I are talking Create mod pack, we're not talking about a mod pack that has Create as a part of it. We're talking about like a mod pack that is like Create Mechanized, Create Astral, Create Stellar. Like take a mod pack like Steampunk. Create is a big part of Steampunk, but it's not the actual focus of the pack. That's an exploration pack and like an RPG pack, and Create is an auxiliary mod to the main factor of it. And that's really fun. Create as an auxiliary mod is always really fun, because you're not pressured so much into using it all the time. You get to kind of use it when you want. And
that's exactly the same with Vault Hunters as well. Vault Hunters is not a Create pack. It's just a pack that has Create in it, and you can use Create to do some stuff. Yeah, I know. It's like when you look at how little of Create is in Vault Hunters and how difficult it is to get the basic resources, it really it gives you such a bad impression of Create, in my opinion. I remember when we switched over and I was looking for a new pack to play before we looked at Create Mechanized, I was like, wait, hang on, you just need some wood for a water wheel. And you were like, yeah, yes. Absolutely no problem. And I was like, but what? You need like black opal or something crazy like this in Vault Hunters. It's like a mid to late game item. And you're like, no, you just need some wood.
Just need some wood. Some wood and some andesite. It's funny too, because I personally think Vault Hunters shouldn't have Create in it, because it makes it very, very expensive. And Create is built so that things can be cheap. Like, you can gear spam. I saw a meme. It was the bell curve meme, and it was like on one end of the bell curve, you're an idiot, and you're like, gear spam is king. And then like there's the height of the bell curve, and everyone's like, gear spam sucks. And then you got the geniuses who are like, gear spam is king. And it's one of those things where it's like, sometimes gear spam is the best option of moving power because it's cheap and it works. But in Vault Hunters, nothing's cheap. And it bugged me a lot, having moved to like quote unquote proper Create, being like, oh my god, this is what you're meant to feel when you're playing with Create. And I say it's funny that I think that Vault Hunters and Create don't mesh well together, because I'm pretty sure Iskel says he wants to do like a vanilla plus Create and Vault Hunters pack, where it's like mostly vanilla and then Create and Vault. I'm hoping though, if it's mostly Create,
it'll be cheaper.
It will become cheaper. Yeah. Because to be fair, I will say, if you did like Create Vault Hunters and the main progression mod was Create, and then you had Vault Hunters on top of that, now that would be a smart pack.
Oh yeah.
That would be a sharp pack. Yeah.
Yeah, and you could do pretty much all of your farms in Create. You adjust the kind of alter recipes so that you only get Create stuff out of it. You can have things like brass casings can be one of the things you need to put in. And yeah, I mean, there's loads of really good ways to make it work, but I feel like the problem with Vault Hunters a little bit is it's too bloated with too many mods, and I understand why.
Yes.
Like, you need to give players the choice. I mean, we wouldn't have experienced half the mods we did if we hadn't played Vault Hunters and basically been given all of the options. I know I certainly wouldn't have picked up Create at all. So it's a really good introduction pack, but I think the pack suffers from it. A bit of a controversial opinion here. I don't think that any pack needs applied energistics and refined storage. I feel like you should pick one and just go with it. And people will get angry with me because of that. But having both, it's two mods that do the same thing.
For all of you in the comments, we know Applied Energistics has all these fancy features of like alternate dimensions and spatial storage and moving stuff, but like in a pack like Vault Hunters, it's just a storage mod.
Yeah, you don't need it.
It's just refined storage, but more complicated.
Exactly. And especially when auto-crafting and things are locked behind very, very, very end game and insanely expensive to the point that you don't ever need it. Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one. But yeah, there's a load of mods that I feel like that. We should yeet thermal out of the pack just because I just hate thermal. And you just basically make the pack, create a modular routers, and then I'll be happy.
I think that's like the plan though, which is pretty exciting. I mean, who knows, right? If it really does become a create mod pack, maybe I'll make a YouTube return to it. I couldn't tell you though.
Yeah.
Because the pack isn't out.
Yeah, no, the vanilla plus ones does sound interesting, but I think that's probably going to be like a 1.20 thing. I'm not quite sure what's happening, but I'm kind of slowly transitioning away from the Vault Hunter side of things over time, especially while things are in a very big lull. I mean, comparatively, when we look at the videos, if I go back 6 months to look at the views that my videos were getting, even my worst videos were getting like between 6,000 and 10,000 views without even trying in essence. The latest one, which is like my tier lists do really, really well. The latest tier list has been out for 2 weeks and it's sat at just under 2,000 views. To put that into context, my shovel interview that I did a week and a bit later has almost exactly the same amount of views. So yeah, it's in a very big lull. I know Iskal's pushed it back because of Hermitcraft, and that makes sense because Hermitcraft definitely suffered when Vault Hunters was running full steam last time. But I am looking forward to when it actually makes a proper comeback and everything starts popping off again.
No, because I remember in like the golden age of Vault Hunters, they had it in like Minecraft Live, had like featured like a clip of Vault Hunters and stuff.
Yeah,
like it was
big,
enormous. And to be fair, I owe getting back into modded to Vault Hunters, and I think a ton of people owe getting back into modded to Vault Hunters, especially if you're new to modded. It may have been Vault Hunters because like it was literally a hermit who was like, check out my modded thing. And I was like, okay. And it's a great pack. There are problems with it, and there are reasons that Hellfire and I don't really want to do content on it anymore. But outside of content creation, it is an insanely impressive pack. So if you haven't tried it and you like RPGs, this isn't I'm doing this like an ad read. We like it. Play it, okay?
Yeah, you say it's not sponsored. I'm going to reach out to Iskal and be like, Iskal, come sponsor this.
Yeah.
we have the connections now. We can do it.
Iskal, come sponsor this. It's 50 minutes into a video.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. We'll just have him hop in and go, I'm Iskal and I approve this message. Anyway, I think we should go back to the list because I think we've gone on a tangent again.
Yes, we should.
So I found out, and this is a very, very reoccurring theme from everyone that I speak to, the key to becoming a full-time YouTuber is unemployment.
Oh my god. Oh my... Yep.
I spoke to Shovel. Shovel said the same thing. I spoke to Jess. Jess said exactly the same thing. It was like, I was just finishing college, just starting to look for work. And it's like, yep, there you go. And then, well, you've got your story. I'll let you tell it.
Yeah, I started YouTube when I was working a job, and I then picked up a second job, and I was very lucky. They were both part-time, both remote. I was super, super lucky in my situation. I couldn't afford to live on my own. My parents were supportive, so I'm working out of my room in my parents' house, and I have these two jobs, and YouTube is starting to pick up. Right. The story here is like I'd become monetized and I'd grown past that monetization level and was starting to realize like, oh, if I really like put my heart into this, if I really like go at this in 6 to 12 months, I might have something where I could support myself on. And it helped that I was doing daily content at the time. And I think looking back at it, having two jobs and doing daily content was making very bad content. It was like literally like I was taking an hour or two per videos on some days. I tried to do as much content as I could, but there were just some days where I was like, I have an hour. I'm going to record something and then upload it. And I had these two jobs, and YouTube was doing pretty well. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe I'll go full time. And then within a week, both of my jobs are like, get out. Both of my jobs were gone. That drama. I'm not going to go into it for legal reasons. But I was released from both of my jobs. and I'm suddenly completely unemployed. Completely unemployed. Going from almost being able to like afford my own place and move out to completely unemployed with YouTube kind of in the background, you know, tossing me a little bit each month. And I had this moment where I was like, well, now's as good a time as any. And that's exactly how it happened. I was like, you know, I'm incredibly lucky that both my parents are not just supportive, but kind of stoked that I'm a YouTuber, which is not the story that you expect. You know, mom and dad being like, woo, yeah, my son plays video games all day. They love it. Yeah, and so now I'm here, and the channel is starting to make me more money than I was ever earning off of 2 jobs, which is completely insane to even think about. That like it worked out, because it's a gamble, right? It's such a gamble, and I think it's why unemployment is what draws people to doing it full time, because it is a terrifying thing to sit down and be like, well, I'm gonna put my salary at the whims of ad revenue and like membership subscriptions and whatever other merch or products I do, because it's uncertain. You know, when I was working those other jobs, they gave me money for working, and it was the same amount of money for the same amount of work, you know, more or less. And with YouTube, it's like, oh, you got sick in February? Sorry, man. No rent for you. So it's very, very, very frightening. But that is for everyone you've talked to has been unemployment is the pipeline to content creation.
Yeah, pretty much. It's been either accidents at work or finishing uni or a pandemic, like just something that's meant they physically can't work. And I'm waiting for it to happen to me. It'll happen at some point. I just know it's going to happen, and I'm hoping I'm in a position where I can just go YouTube full time. Now I get to plug that if you guys want to help support that, you can join the channel memberships down below.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting kind of dynamic that you have to juggle when you're doing YouTube content. As you kind of develop your skills over time. Like today, I've literally gone back and replaced 3 of my thumbnails because I was like, no, I'm not happy with them. You become very self-critical, and that's the thing, but it's not a bad thing. I mean, it can be if you take it too far, but the only way you're going to get better is by figuring out what you're doing wrong. But then it's also really hard to know if the thing that you've pointed out that you're doing wrong is actually wrong. And so you change it.
Yes.
So it's, my pacing was the biggest sort of flip for my channel when I changed my pacing to a much, much faster, high-paced thing. I'm not like Mr. Beast level of fast pacing, but I leave very few gaps in content. That changed the retention from like 30% to 50%, and that was a huge change. But then I did other things where it's like I changed up my release schedule and I started streaming and things, thinking that, you know what, this is going to be the right thing. And it just wasn't. I've just ditched my upload schedule now. I've gone, you know what, I'm releasing videos when they're done and when I'm happy with it. And that has been a huge change for me for the positive, I think.
I'm trying to release videos on a consistent schedule. I won't tell anyone what it is because I don't want you guys expecting something. And I've done pretty good about that. I think it's important to have goals for like, I would like to do a video a week, but keeping it at like a video a week. It comes out when it's done, and if it's not done in a week, then I say, okay, next week I need to do better about speed here, but otherwise I'm not gonna push a video that I don't want, because I think it should be easy. It's one of those things where like every YouTuber in the world says to do this, and no one listens until they don't do it, and then they go, God, this sucks, and then they start doing it right. That's the learning curve. And self-critical, it's hard. There's too many things. Is it your thumbnail? Is it your title? Is it your microphone? Is it the content? Is it like even the subject? Is it that you put the Create Mod logo on the left side of the thumbnail and you should have had it on the right side of the thumbnail? Is your description not full of enough stuff that, tags people? Are you not getting enough interaction on your videos? Like, do you have to say like, comment, subscribe? Do it. All those things. There are so many factors. It's maddening, and it takes forever to figure it out. It takes, because you got to go, is it thumbnails? No. Is it titles? No. Is it vocal performance? No. And every time you're doing this, you're doing it in a different video. Like, you can't do it all at once because you won't get any data out of that. And if you're uploading every, 3 days, every 5 days, every 7 days, it could take you a month to identify that maybe your titles aren't very good, or maybe your pacing, isn't where it needs to be, or your editing isn't up to snuff, or you have a tendency to halfway through a video lose your energy, and that's why AVD is dropping off. It could take a month, 2 months. It could take like your entire YouTube career to finally sit down and go, like, oh my God, my pacing is bad, you know?
Yeah, and the really annoying thing is that's only half of the problem, because once you've figured out what it is, you then need to figure out how to do it differently. And I can guarantee if you ask 10 different YouTubers, you're going to get 10 different pieces of advice on what's the best thing to do, and they will all contradict each other. As we found out in the thumbnail feedback channel in our Create thing, everyone has a different idea.
God, yeah. How many times have we posted a thumbnail where you're like, what do you guys think of this? And 2 people are like, I love that thumbnail. I would click on it. And a third guy comes in and goes, that is the worst thumbnail I have ever seen in my entire life. I wouldn't ever watch her channel again. You know, it's like, whoa, really? And other people are like, I don't quite agree with that. Or someone's like, you know what, you could do. It's like, feedback is good. Thumbnail feedback is a great channel, by the way. If you're a content creator group, talk about each other's thumbnails. But man, it is so funny. Or the best part is, you will post a thumbnail going, I hate this, what do I change? And everyone else goes, I love that thumbnail, what are you talking about? And you're like, I know 100% this thumbnail will not do well. I know it.
Yeah, you do. And then even if you post one that you've already posted and it's not doing well, you will get a bunch of people that are going, oh, that's a fantastic thumbnail. And you're like, it has 2% click-through rate. It's clearly not doing well. Like, what's going on?
Yeah. Please, YouTube, please release A/B split testing to smaller channels. We need it.
What is it? What's it at like? Is it 1 million plus at the moment still?
I think it's like 1 million plus, I think, or like 800,000. It's far out of reach.
Yeah, we'll get there. But then we have the fun of having to create 3 thumbnails for every video. So that'll be fun.
It's not real if we don't talk about it.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, well, let's move on then. Just FYI, that whole thumbnail rant still is not on the list.
Oh, yeah, no, not a subject.
You are doing a big project at the moment. You've done it in the past, and now you're doing season 4?
Season 4.
Do you want to let our audience know what's it all about?
Braincells SMP, the modded, exclusive, curated, survival, multiplayer server. I'm losing the spiel. Yeah. Anyways, it's a Crate Mod server that I put on. And I started it months ago, like 6 months ago at this point now. Mostly because I felt like, I was like, man, my supporters aren't really getting something. Like, I really want them to get something. I want them to give money to me, and then they get something other than, like, attribution and, like, special Discord channels and stuff, because they weren't using it. And I decided that what I would do is host a Minecraft server, because who doesn't host a Minecraft server for their supporters?
Me, because I did it and it was awful. It was the worst experience of my entire life.
If you value your sanity, do not host a Minecraft server. It's ridiculously difficult. It's ridiculously difficult. And if you're gonna do a Minecraft server, don't do modded. It's worse.
No, don't do it.
Minecraft is not a very efficient game. And that comes through on a server. And I am very proud. I am very proud of where I've come as a server manager when it comes to Braincells SMP and a Modpack creator, and still learning, you know, like season 4 is the collective knowledge of seasons 1, 2, and 3, and season 5 is going to be the collective knowledge of seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4. And each season gets better, each season grows bigger, and each season I approach that RAM limit more and more and more on the machine. It's great fun, and it has a fantastic community. I have videos on it just going over the absolutely insane builds that people do. It blew me away, and it warms my heart every day that I've created a community where people want to do that. People want to spend 100 hours building a cathedral because it's just cool to do that. And this season, we even have a quest book where you can submit compacted blocks in order to earn points, and it's been so fun to see people posting their accomplishments as they go higher and higher on the compacting chain and watching the points counter kind of go up and up and up, and, you know, talking with the community about what they want to see and stuff. Like, I still have some recipe changes that I want to do based on community feedback, and it's a blast, but it's hard. It's very, very hard to run a server, especially when you're getting to the level that I think we are with Braincells, where it's no longer just a collection of mods and a build theme. It's now like a mod pack. There is a goal. There is recipe changes. I literally went through before the season, and I myself, Cube.js, changed dozens of recipes in order to make the pack work better. So it is the elephant in the room. It is a big deal.
Yeah, it sounds really cool. And I will say that if you ever want to be humbled as a content creator, just open up a request for your community to do anything, and you will soon realize that you can't do anything. It's like, oh yeah, I thought I was really good at Britannia, and then I said it to my community. I was like, oh look, let's look at your Britannia builds, and then people were making like entire ridiculous slime farms that were generating a pool of mana in about 4 seconds, and I was like, how are you doing that? I set up like a TNT exploder thing, and it still takes like 5 minutes to fill up a pool, but at the end of the day, you're the best person at generating a community.
It's a skill, and it's difficult. It's very difficult, and sometimes it feels bad. Like, sometimes you don't feel good about it. Like, one of the reasons that Braincells is such an amazing server is because you have to pay to be on it. You have to pay.
Yep.
And it's not a fun feeling saying to your community, like, you cannot play on this unless you pay. But the result of it is a community of people who care. And in the past, there were ways to get on the server without having to pay for your membership, right? Gifted memberships and stuff like that. And every single person who was gifted a membership to the server diminished the community. They stole, they griefed, they messed with other people, they were rude because they didn't care. And the best communities are the ones that care. It's weird to have to put your foot down to a group of people who just want to play Minecraft and say, no, you can't do this. You have to be like a part of this. But yeah, it's turned into like just something completely insane. Like next season, we are probably going to have a split server infrastructure. There are now too many people who are playing at once to have one server. Like the opening day of season 4 had 33 people on the server at once.
That's a lot.
It handled it because, you know, of 6 months of server running expertise, but barely.
It sounds like a lot of fun, I'll be honest, and I've been tempted more than once to turn around and go, yeah, that's fine, I'll just I'll come join in. I'm happily sort of paying for it in that side of things, but I see what time I have, and I know that I wouldn't be able to contribute to the server as much as I'd want to, so why would I take up a spot when someone else can sort of enjoy themselves more and put more into it, is my kind of thought behind it.
I mean, we've gotten good enough at optimizing the server that one person won't actually make that big of a difference on TPS anymore. And TPS is my nightmare. It is my enemy. It is the villain of all Minecraft servers. And boy, does the Create mod love TPS. It loves it. It's its favorite drink. It likes to suck away your TPS like a vampire. Fun fact, putting a brass funnel on an item vault, exceptionally laggy.
Oh, yeah.
Just the basic interaction of pulling an item out of an item vault has been the criminal behind, like, losing 2 entire TPS across, like, a large server.
That's insane.
Villainous. And there's nothing I think the devs can really do about it because of how Minecraft's, you know, unfortunately at the root, Minecraft is not optimized for large servers. It's a very specific kind of mental prison to say, well, I want a big server, so I'm gonna download as many mods and tweak as many settings as possible. And welcome to Nightmare Town.
The good thing about Bisect is they do have very good customer service. I've reached out multiple times and they've troubleshooted my own servers and things like that. Granted, in the end, they just went, yeah, your Modpack's just really not optimized very well. So it was just causing issues. But they spent like a good 2 days of me tearing my hair out trying to get more than 3 people alive on the server at once. And they like upgraded my server and all this sort of stuff. But they are very good. I would recommend them. Yeah. We've both got affiliate links for them, which I'll stick both of them down below. You can pick your favorite and battle it out.
Comment down below whose you pick if you do pick one. I want to like tally it.
Yep, that. And just remember, these interviews are put on by me. So just if you want more of these. That's all I'm saying.
If you want more of these, sub to Hellfire. I'm a member of your channel, by the way.
Oh, you get to use that cool highlighted comment feature.
Is that a thing?
Oh yeah. So your channel members' comments get highlighted first, and they're in an entirely separate section on your videos.
Oh, okay. I know that. On my channel, I know that. I see your comments there. Sorry, I thought you meant like a highlighted orange message underneath the video for everyone.
You mean like the donation thing on streams?
Yeah.
Nothing like that.
I was like, so members, I read your comments. That's a feature, and I know where it is. Did you know that the first smiley emoticon was coined at a university in a very, very formal message?
No.
I don't remember it, but it was like, from here on out, I propose that we use this sequence of characters to denote happiness or laughter or joking in text messages. And then it's like the original nose smiley. And then the best part about it is another message, which is, although, considering the state of things, perhaps we should use a frowning emoticon sequence to denote when something is not a joke. And that was great. So the smiley emoticon was invented at the same time the frowny emoticon was invented because the author thought that people were just clowns. The guy was like, you're all clowns, so put this at the end of your sentences so I know when you're not joking, is how that was invented.
That's actually beautiful, and we should all do that all of the time. I know everyone makes fun of millennials because they do the crying, laughing face all the time, but that's just our way of letting you know that we are enjoying having a conversation with you, because we spent so much time with just like no emoticons that now you just naturally do it. That is my full stop, is the crying laughing emoji.
That's amazing. Now it's tone indicators. Now
Yes.
you do like /serious/JK, and I'm Gen Z and I'm not on the internet enough. So I've been doing live streaming, and I've been really having to learn tone indicators, because one of my mods is very proficient with tone indicators, and they're great. They're a fantastic resource. It does not hurt ever to just indicate that you're joking about something, because there have been times where I have read a message, and I've been like, really? Oh, it's a joke. Good.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, like, things don't read as jokes. Nothing reads as a joke.
Yeah, especially when you're like having two neurodivergent people having an interview, trying to understand neurotypical tone is very difficult. I will say that.
Yes. And also dyslexia, being dyslexic, misreading words, sometimes having a tone indicator at the end of it just helps in being like, wait, that was a joke? Oh, that's not what they said.
Yeah, I've definitely like typed out a paragraph before and then had a look and be like, oh, wait, no, that's not what they said at all. Okay, right.
Sorry.
The final thing that I want to talk about, because it's important,
Alrighty.
and I'm secretly forming the Avengers, but D&D. We both love D&D.
I love it.
And I am secretly in the background of all of these interviews creating a YouTuber D&D supergroup. So I need your buy-in right now.
I don't have time, and you don't have time,
Nope.
and I know that no one you've talked to has time.
No, absolutely not.
I'll join the group chat. Put me in the group chat, because if anyone here hasn't played D&D, the real game isn't elves and dwarves and dice and dragons. It's not even dungeons.
Nope.
It's being in a group chat with a bunch of people that don't have enough time to play, and one of you guys goes, I have a weekend open, and everyone else goes, no. And then someone else goes, the DM's ready for this campaign, and everyone but one guy can do it, and then they're like, well, that guy is really big. Anyways, the real game of D&D is scheduling.
You know what I'm actually thinking of doing is like booking something like this. There's a thing where you can do D&D in a castle.
Oh, yeah, that
And
looks so cool.
I'm thinking about, because in the UK, castles are not that expensive to rent, to be honest with you, like for a day.
Really? Okay, so I'm American, for those of you who don't know, or can't hear, and I have absolutely no concept of castles. Because, shockingly, we don't have castles in America.
Yeah, you not really needed them since America was founded after gunpowder was invented. So
Yeah, something like that affects our castle to, like, land, ratio. So how much is a castle? We don't have to put this in the... I don't know if you want to talk about this on an interview, but I'm just curious.
Oh, you can rent it on Airbnb. That's quite interesting.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no. Castle rentals in the UK. Right. If I did this like a year out and did it in the off season, so like February or something. Oh, £610 per night for Buckinghamshire Castle.
I could spend more money getting to and from Europe than a night in a castle.
So there's definitely the opportunity to rent a castle, right? And then if I book it like a year in advance and get everyone to buy in, then we can all do D&D in a castle for a weekend. We can all video it. and we can do it, like post it to our channels as vlog content. I think that'd be amazing.
Great. That'd be super fun. Sign me up. Put me in the group chat, whatever it is.
If I had a group chat, I'd put you in there, but we'll sort it out. But if that sounds like something that you don't want to see, you know what to do. We'll just plug in the comments at this point. Just like comment everything, and then we'll see how many comments we get.
How many comments should you guys should each have like 3 comments or like 1 comment bullet point list. All right, I want like MLA formatting. Your sources have to be cited at this point. Like we're looking. This is homework now.
It definitely is, because we have to put in homework for the video, so you guys have to put in the homework for viewing it. That's just the way it is. Sorry, we don't make the rules, except we do.
Yeah. Can you guys tell that like we don't record videos that are this long?
Yeah.
And I've just noticed that there is a timer in my head of a plug, and I keep doing it. It's like 30 minutes. Come on, I need a plug.
The great thing is, I was like, yeah, we're going to make this video like just under an hour. It's currently an hour and a half since we started recording. So we should probably wrap up around now. Yeah. But hopefully you've enjoyed this fantastic build that we've been doing while we've been talking.
Oh, yeah. It's looking, the colors and the blocks.
Yeah, all the mods
and the friendship
that are in it. Yeah.
There's create. You can see that part. We're looking at it right now, right?
Absolutely. I think I did Britannia. Yeah, I remember that. Britannia stuff in there as well. Yeah, fantastic. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Everyone make sure that you go and subscribe to DeJojo's channel. I now have to somehow filter through this entire thing and come up with some sort of title for this video. No idea what that's going to be. That'll be fun.
You could call it the effects of ADHD.
Yeah, just ADHD in Minecraft. There you go.
Oh my god. Now that's a title right there. And then one of those thumbnails where the shaders are on, it's like a character looking out to the sunset. Boom. 10 million views.
Right, that's it. And if this goes badly, entirely DeJojo's fault. We'll leave it there. Thanks very much for coming on, and I'm sure we'll have you back on again shortly. Have a good night, everyone.
Yeah, see ya.